fucking New Year.
Happy fucking New Year. What?
Wittershins.
Wittershins.
By nationality, I'm a member of a growing populace. We enforce our popularity. There are things that seem to pull us under, and there are things that drag us down. But there's a power and a vital presence that's lurking all around. We've got the American Jesus, see him on the interstate. We've got the American Jesus, he outbuilt the president's estate. I feel sorry for the Earth's population, 'cause some people live in the USA. At least the foreigners can copy our morality. They can visit but they cannot stay. Only precious few can garner the prosperity, and it's us want the freedom and confidence. We got a place to go where we die, and the architect resides right here. We've got the American Jesus, fostering national faith. We've got the American Jesus, overwhelming millions every day. He's the farmer clearing fields, the books the army wields, expressions on the faces of the starting millions. The power of the plan, the fuel that drives the clan. He's the motive and the conscience of the murderer. He's a preacher on TV, the false sincerity, the formula that's written by the big computers and nuclear bombs. The kids with no moms, and I'm fearful that he's inside me. Yeah, we've got the American Jesus, see him on the interstate. We've got the American Jesus, exercising his authority. We've got the American Jesus, bolstering national faith. We've got the American Jesus, overwhelming millions every day. Yeah.
should. Our children wait to hear that song. Rituals to which they now belong. Black magic rites. Black magic, so long forgotten. What mysteries lay hidden in the piper's song? Ancient wood of an earring. It's much too late, there's no escape, we're far too gone. Our children need to hear that song. Rituals to
And happy fucking New Year!
Happy New Year.
Welcome to Winter Shins.
Wishes.
Hi, that was Blood Ceremony
Yes.
with Witchwood,
Not to be confused with Blood Church.
which I, fucked up and thought that was their name. But we heard Bad Religion start off the thing. We heard Misfits, Hollywood
Misfits.
Babylon, which,
Yes.
is the song
Which
that's taken on
is
so much
like-
more meaning to me. Not just living in Hollywood, but
all the Babylonian,
the Babylonian
architecture that is in
architecture
Hollywood.
and depictions of Babylonian gods at the entrance to the what's the theater
Dolby?
we go? The Dolby and the Chinese theater
And
all
just
that kind of-
random
Yeah.
buildings throughout Hollywood have Babylonian
gods,
deities, gods,
and goddesses,
carved into the buildings.
into the stone, into
Yeah.
the very stone, stone monuments for them. Just be set around the city. Even in WeHo, there was one at the park where we used to take the sun. It was this Babylonian. It was like this kind of cow. It was like a cow with a human head thing. It was really weird. But I looked it up and it was Babylonian. But hey, welcome to Wittershins, radio for your spiritual side. A twisted approach to the left-hand path, and listen to how quiet it is. We've come indoors because it's the throes
Because
of winter.
it is windy
outside.
AF
And we got all these
upstairs. We were sleeping this morning, and I fully thought there were maintenance people up on our roof, and I was gonna go up there and give them a piece of my mind because I was thinking New Year's Eve, 8:30, really, people.
She was gonna
but
go
it
up there.
turns out it was the wind. I heard all sorts of things like falling and rolling, and I thought walking, and I thought there was all sorts of activity up there, and there's a way for maintenance people to get up there, so I thought that was what they were doing.
Yeah.
But apparently it was the wind.
And so the clown to the left of me's version of her, she was going to go up there and confront them was, honey, go check that out. And I went up there. I didn't even have pants on yet. I didn't give a fuck. That was my property. I was going to go up there with pants or not. And damn, it almost freeze my balls off. There's a cold-ass wind from hell, the biggest wind I'd ever seen.
Good thing we got a new gazebo
Yeah.
with cross-stitching.
But, it probably got down to the 40s one time here so far. I think that was maybe with the wind chill factor, but yeah, it's too noisy up there. We've got all these wind chimes and crap. Really quiet Wittershins this time. Not as much traffic noise and all that kind of thing. So Happy New Year. It's New Year's Day, 2019.
Yes.
Whole new level.
Yes.
We
had a
missed
bunch of
Christmas. We took Christmas off.
Yes. Yeah,
So,
they're
hope you had
New Year's and
a
Christmas
jolly
is
and
always
shit.
on the same day of the week.
So we figured we had to do New Year's Day since we didn't do Christmas. But hope you had a good time and stuff.
We spent the evening with family, and then we got home, and we saw a bunch of fireworks.
It was epic.
Outside of our window. Like, everywhere you looked, there were just fireworks.
Yeah.
And this was our first New Year's where we're living right now, so we didn't know. But it was
All around.
way more fireworks
All
than Independence Day.
Yeah, 4th of July, they were like, it was summer and, the fire danger.
It doesn't
around
get
here.
dark
They
until
were
9 o'clock.
Yeah, they were so hardcore that, that we saw fireworks on the horizon. But yeah, last night we saw them on the horizon and right up in our face. It's like right in between buildings. It was the most dangerous fireworks.
They were low.
display
They
I've
did
ever
not
seen.
go up into the sky. They were totally low, lined up with the skyline, if not below it. It was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So they weren't city-sanctioned fireworks, I don't think.
No,
Just
no.
like private people.
I mean, maybe some of the stuff we saw on the horizon, like I think some of the stuff
They
we see over that
didn't.
way
They
is
never
Long
went up
Beach.
that high.
Yeah.
They were pretty low.
Yeah.
So I think they were just private people's fireworks.
Yeah.
But it was lovely to see them. Thank you,
Awesome.
Hollywood. Thank you.
And since we're old, we got home before midnight. We have a kid and stuff, so he had.
We didn't
enough
want to drive
stuff.
on the freeway with the
No,
kid in the
no.
car. It
And-
has nothing to do with being old.
And back in my day, around L.A., there was the danger of falling bullets. I don't know if they've less people are doing that stupid thing and shooting a gun off up in the air at midnight. But it used to be a real thing, and always be like, always crash through a roof and kill a kid in its bed or something like that. It was always the worst place for a fucking bullet to land. But it happened every year. Yeah. And back in my day, like the cops would not be on the road for about 15 minutes after midnight. At midnight they would park under an overpass, under a bridge, and just wait it out. And wait, usually about 15 minutes later, all of the lead has fallen, except for the people that fired late. I don't know. Back in my day, I stayed under the bridge longer than 15 minutes. But I don't know if it's better now. But we didn't have to. We just had to look out our window. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we were home by 10:30. Not ready to go to sleep by any means, but we got some champagne, busted out the champagne, and watched the fireworks. It was a good night, actually.
We've been we're in the what day is it in the government shutdown?
10 probably.
I think it's 10.
10 or 11.
Where Trump managed to fuck up the Christmas of 400 and some odd thousand federal workers, and now just was yesterday.
And then on New Year's, all the rich people who paid $1,000 to see Trump at Mar-a-Lago didn't get to see him.
Yes, there was
poor rich people. That really put a damper in my day.
Yeah.
What about you?
Well, I think also it was on New Year's Eve day, at least when it hit the news, is that the Federal Employees Union is suing the Trump administration.
Yep.
Because they've made these essential workers
they're
work without
forcing
pay.
them to work without pay. And I was just talking earlier, I'm like, no. If you're not going to hold up your end of the deal, which is paying me, I would have to hold up my end of the deal, which is working. That's kind of how it works. And so they finally figure that out, and they're suing, as they should.
Yeah. Well,
it's just like
as a unionist, I
forcing
would
the
have
Secret
to
Service to work, and this is probably no, we're on the air. I shouldn't say anything, but if you mean the president harm, now is probably a good time. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, we read that story. There was some guy that stole a forklift and tried to infiltrate the motorcade. He was going to ram Trump's car and flip it or something like that, and he got it stuck in the mud or some crap. I just read that. It was a legitimate story, recent story. I don't know exactly. I don't have the details on that story, but it's funny as hell. So we've gotten to that stage of the game where we're in the new year now. If ever there was a chance to stop the madness or slow it down, it's now.
I dropped an egg, y'all.
You're about to drop another one. What was I saying? Oh, Trump shit. So here's your egg.
Trump shit.
Here's your lost egg. But yeah, so there's a government shutdown over the wall. And it's still going on, and but now the incoming Democrats apparently have legislation to reopen the government, something like that.
Yeah, there's something. Unfortunately, I don't know all the details or anything, but it's something that the Senate has already approved.
Yeah.
And it was, the way that I read it was, it's so uncontroversial that Mitch McConnell brought it up to the Senate, and it was passed unanimously. And I guess it goes to the House next, and they're obviously going to pass it. Yeah. So it's something, I don't know the details at all, but it will fund the government somehow, without giving him money for the wall.
Well, last night, we were, I think it was after midnight, and we were, still drinking champagne, and this random thing popped up on the TV to watch on Comedy Central. Reno 911. The episode was called The Wall, and I turned it on, and immediately...
It's from like, what, 97 or 2007?
It was 2008. I looked it up.
Okay, so 10 years ago. It's from 10 years ago.
It seemed so recent. It
well,
seemed
everything
like a bunch of
seemed... Even
Trump-supporting
The Onion
cops.
seems like it's topical, real news.
Yeah. But so...
we assumed that it was a newly created episode created as a parody to Trump's wall.
But
it wasn't. It's like 10 years before the wall.
As it opens up, one of the cops is wearing a T-shirt with a brick wall on it and says, "If we build it, they can't come." and Marta called it, and I think it was prophetic at the time. I think Trump saw that episode once upon a time, and that's where he got his brilliant strategy for the wall. And eventually, it's really funny. You should really just the show's not paying us, but you should go see that show.
They're just talking about putting up a wall. I was going to keep people out and blah blah blah. Well, and it's meant to be funny.
Yes,
it's humorous.
And these
but
rednecks,
that's our reality right now.
But the rednecks and the cops and everything, and they go out to build this wall where they really just like sit around drinking beer and making, putting in the posts for a chain link fence. And eventually, some Mexicans are coming across the border, and they hire the Mexicans to build the fence for them, really cheap, because they're all drunk. All they did is drink the whole time. And eventually, I think once the Mexicans finish the fence, they're on the other side. Spoiler alert! Sorry about that. But it's I think the entire brilliant strategy of our dear president came from that episode.
Reno 911.
The Chinese gave up walls thousands of years ago for a reason. They don't work. We just 2 weeks ago, I believe, no, probably 3 weeks ago now, Israel, which has a wall, found this elaborate tunnel system with there were like phone charging stations all under the thing, and ventilation systems and Wi-Fi, all to tunnel under their border from Palestine or from the West Bank or one of those occupied regions, and it's the same thing here. They just found another tunnel with a railroad system under it. I think that one had Wi-Fi too. all the tunnels under everybody's borders. You gotta have fucking Wi-Fi.
Who's gonna use those tunnels if they don't have Wi-Fi?
Well, your network's not going to work down in the tunnel.
They have to have Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Who's going to use them?
I mean,
They'll be like empty, meaningless tunnels.
I don't think Verizon's going to work in the fucking tunnel. You need some Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
I don't think AT&T's down in that tunnel, man. So you need some Wi-Fi.
How do you know?
Well, I don't think people's regular cell phone network's going to work. That's why they need Wi-Fi.
Have you tried it?
I'm just thinking. I'm just spitballing out there. That may be the thing. That may not be the thing. But walls, ancient technology people used a long, long time ago. That's how people developed catapults and shit. But I'm not saying that south of the border they're going to make catapults. They just go under the walls, under the walls, over the walls. There was always a way, and in medieval times, those were the two main ways: over the walls, under the walls. And under the walls, you can make the entire wall collapse if you just dig the tunnel in the right place. And guess who? Guess if we needed that kind of construction job done in America, guess who we'd hire that would know how to do that job? Can you guess?
What?
Can you guess? Who would we hire to tunnel under a wall and make it collapse?
Gophers.
We might hire gophers. We'd have to hire, thousands of gophers to make it happen. But, it's probably be a whole lot of Mexicans south of the border, and they know how to do construction, and they can do that kind of thing. And, so that's who we'd hire to do it. What?
What?
I don't know. Sasha's do pantomiming over here.
Are you doing interpretive dance?
About something. But so now, mundane world stuff. We're in the new year.
Yes.
And Democrats take over the House in 2 days now?
The third. Yeah, 2 days.
First 2 days. Oh my God. there's
Well, you
something.
know, if he thought there was something to bitch about before, he doesn't even know. He doesn't even know
Well, that's kind of part of
what's
the problem.
happening,
Is, you know,
what's coming up.
he's just so easily unhinged. That's what makes him an unfit
Because he's used
leader.
to being in charge. That's
Yeah.
why he gets all pissy when he can't be a dictator.
Yeah.
He thinks it's like one of his failing businesses.
And our enemies could use that against us. You know, it's really easy to unhinge the man and make him just lose his shit. And, you know, there's several chapters in The Art of War about people like him and how to make people like him lose his shit. But he doesn't read, so that's part of the problem, too. But he's just been unchecked up to now. And now there's at least the ability to check him, and I hope...
Yeah, it's really a shame that we
check him
didn't
in a
win.
serious way.
If we won both houses, his head would just explode.
Yeah.
In a month.
Yeah.
This way, it'll probably take 2 or 3 months.
Well, look how unhinged he's become at the opposition that he has, which is basically just the media.
I know.
Nobody in this
I
fucking
know.
party has the balls to say anything, no matter what ludicrous anti-American thing he comes up
And
with.
and this crazy shit right now. I'm at the White House working while y'all are partying on New Year's Eve. Like, he can't even like deal with like one tiny little thing.
Yeah.
That obviously there's a shutdown because his own party wasn't enough to avert a shutdown.
Well, he also sat in the White House on Christmas tweeting for the Democrats to come back and make a deal.
Yeah.
Like, they went to Christmas, and he spent the time tweeting. Last night, especially, like, all night, New Year's Eve, tweeting like crazy. It didn't say, from the tweets I saw, it didn't say Happy New Year till this morning, and of course, you know, was with, you know, things about the fake news and all
It's
that
always
shit.
it's always a backhanded well wish.
Yeah. And yeah, you know how we love those kind of people.
Yeah, love them.
Love them.
Speaking of people we love, we should probably play a couple songs, and then we will talk about people we love.
Yeah.
In the pagan community.
Yeah. Well, I was
Said-
thinking reading a story and then leading up to that, because you know that's what people are waiting for.
What?
And if we give it to them too soon, you know, they'll just tune out.
Oh, you're gonna hold out on
I'm gonna
them.
hold out a little bit.
All right.
Give another story. I know what they
All
came
right.
to hear.
All right.
We know how you people are.
Give them another story.
Yeah.
Or-
So
oh wait, so you are gonna? What? I was just saying, we gotta play something.
we can play something.
Well, why are you scrolling?
Okay. Oh,
It's
did you
my
see what
turn.
you wanted to play?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, I'm sorry.
God.
From the cradle bars comes a beckoning voice that sends you spinning. You have no choice. You hear laughter cracking through the walls, it sends you spinning. You have no choice. You hear laughter.
shins.
Three shins.
That's we have Stellar Corpses, Vince Needles, Sushi and the Banshees, back then Spellbound, and let's see. We had a couple stories we were going to talk about. The fool to the left of me is crawling around behind me doing stuff right now.
I'm like apparently the technical stuff. You're not doing shit.
There we go. Lighting. All right, now I can see. So, where did I get this story? That's behind this. This. Behind this.
Oh.
On that side.
Here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see. This was a story. I think Marta was talking about this story before. And then I saw the story pop up in my feed today, and I thought it was fascinating. Kind of fascinating news that we would cover on Widdershins. The ancient Irish healing soil, once used by the Druids, really works. This was on mnn.com. The medicinal soil has been found to contain powerful antibiotics in this soil. Look at that. Folk remedies aren't always taken seriously. Sasha, volume down on TV.
Now. Sorry, our kid got a little too excited. Down.
Down all the way.
Mute. Turn it down. All the way.
It is down. All right, talk for a second. Tell them we're talking about the Druid soil.
So we're talking about the Druids. I'm not personally familiar with the story, but it's some folk remedy. Case in point, researchers are looking at ancient Irish healing soil. Long believed to have remarkable medicinal properties, they've discovered a previously unknown strain of bacteria that produces antibiotics capable of killing 4 of the world's deadliest superbugs.
We got you to read some news. The soil, which can be found in the Boho Highlands of Fermanagh, Northern Ireland, has a reputation for its ability to heal a number of ailments ranging from toothaches to throat infections. Its history of use can be traced back to the Druids who once occupied the land and possibly even as far back as the Neolithic times. I'm trying to picture that, the tooth thing. They're like just sticking some mud in their mouth. How did that work? The new strain of bacteria is effective against 4 of the top 5 pathogens that are resistant to antibiotics, including MRSA. MRSA, said Paul Dyson of Swansea University Medical School, one of the researchers on the study. Our discovery is an important step towards the fight against antibiotic resistance. He added, our results show that folklore and traditional medicines are worth investigating in the search for new antibiotics. Scientists, historians, and archaeologists can all have something to contribute to this task. It seems that part of the answer to this very modern problem might lie in the wisdom of the past. I mean, duh. That's most of our medicines are based on herbs, synthesized herbs that people used for thousands of years for that. Even aspirin's probably the most classic. It's like synthesized with white willow bark from white willow bark. And it's just a more potent dose. But really, I guess there you could do enough white willow bark in a tea to be same dosage.
And heroin is from poppy seeds.
Yeah. I mean, everything's natural, really.
And not only is everything natural, but being natural doesn't mean safe.
No.
I have run across so many people in my practice as an acupuncturist saying, oh, well, I take this herb and it's natural, so it's really okay. And it's like, no. There are a lot of quote-unquote natural things that will kill you. Yeah. It doesn't mean they're safe.
Hemlock.
Hemlock, exactly. Hemlock is natural. A lot of poison, that there's so many, I'm not versed in mushrooms, but there's so many mushrooms that are poisonous. And when we lived in Santa Cruz, every year, when the fungus season, during the fungus season, people would die. People who were foraging for mushrooms and thought that they knew the difference between certain different kinds of mushrooms. There was always like one family a year at least that would die and have liver problems, and most people in the family would die, and mushrooms are natural. So yeah, that always really bothers me when people say that, because everything's natural and natural things can kill you. So natural does not mean safe ever. Ever.
Natural.
What?
Mercury's natural.
Yeah, mercury. I wouldn't touch it. I don't know if you would, but I wouldn't touch it.
Sulfur gas.
Sulfur gas. I don't know anything really about sulfur gas enough to have an opinion.
Well, it comes from volcanoes. It's natural, but concentrated will kill you.
Okay.
Yeah. It's natural. It's totally natural.
Yeah, but
Likewise, so's, lava.
fire.
Fire's natural.
Yep.
You want to take it to its extreme. I'm in here pouring champagne, so you need to
What? I have to talk to people?
Yeah, you've been talking to people.
We have to talk amongst ourselves?
Talk amongst
Well,
yourselves.
you're the main blabbermouth that likes to talk on the show.
Well, that's not true.
And I take breaks here and there, but you're the consistent person that has all the dribble.
Yeah, well, honey, just pretend that we just woke up and it's before coffee. And talk my ear off, okay?
I always have so many thoughts and ideas that took shape way before you took your first thought in the morning.
Exactly.
Exactly what?
Exactly.
Thank you.
Okay, where the hell were we on this winter shins? I haven't even...
We're talking about natural stuff.
Oh,
and how that doesn't make
bunch
it
of people
good.
in the chat room. I hadn't even checked. Hey, Utu's in there. Hey, happy holidays,
Oh.
Utu.
Hi, Happy New Year.
Rebecca, where else? AT&T barely works above ground. That was funny. That was back when we were talking about the tunnels.
Huh?
What? So, we had, I think I had another story there.
Sasha just came up to us and I said,
Yeah.
what? And he said, I have no idea. He just wants to be on the air.
Yeah. All right. I don't know.
What are you looking for?
I thought I had another story that I wanted to read, but yeah, the ancient Irish, the one about the sacred dirt. I think that was it. And then there's the other.
So what do they do with the dirt? Do they eat the dirt? Do they plant and toil the earth with the dirt? What do they do?
That's the complicated part. There's probably many ways, to use the dirt.
Well, I didn't read
Putting
the
a lot of
article,
stuff in
so
stuff.
does it
I
say
didn't-
how to
didn't-
use the dirt?
Well, we read part of the article, but
I barely read any
that
of
was
the
thing,
article.
So we didn't finish the article. So I was just saying, a new strain of bacteria from the dirt is effective against 4 of the top 6 pathogens. No, we read that part. The new strain of bacteria discovered in the Irish soil has been named Streptomyces. How would you say that?
Streptomyces?
Streptomyces sp.
Myrophoria.
Yeah.
Myrophoria.
Say that 10 times fast. Its discovery offers hope that our new antibiotics might be discovered by studying ancient folk remedies around the world. This discovery of antimicrobial substances from
Streptomyces? Streptomyces.
Myrophoria. Will help
Myrophoria.
in our search for the new drug to treat multi-resistant bacteria, the cause of many dangerous lethal infections, said Dr. Jerry Quinn.
So they don't really say anything except that they found some source that they're gonna do something.
Yeah, there's pretty much a sentence or two that we don't even need, and then that story's ended. But yeah,
All
they're
right.
going to tell us how to use it. I guess then people write books.
Yeah.
Yeah, now they're going to start digging up dirt, and shipping it around the world.
They're going to synthesize it with Big Pharma.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, now the Irish have something to export.
Yeah.
Yeah. They can sell dirt on the internet. So, then there was this other thing.
What?
You remember the thing?
What thing?
Well, first of all, if you're not well versed in these things, you need to get, we need you to catch up. We can't repeat ourselves on all this stuff. So, that's why we have archives. But we've had the past several shows have been about, controversial things happening in and around Pantheacon for February. Was it February?
What about it?
When is it?
Well,
it's whatever
President's Day weekend, which is in
but,
February.
So the next Pantheacon, and people being deplatformed.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about Witch Doctor Utu. We talked about Max Dashu.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing just keeps getting more ridiculous.
Yeah.
And it just keeps going worse. And recently, Utu posted, about how great his book sales were, even though it was, pre-book sales and that kind of thing. We're hoping he's going to have a bestseller, and that it's, entirely going to be because of his coverage on the Witterson show, of course. But it doesn't seem to be holding anybody back that's involved in this thing. But the latest thing, there was. I might have to read some of the context of it, but there was during the whole controversy surrounding Witch Doctor Utu, and I think it was involving Max too. Orion Foxwood made some sort of statement. Remember, it was kind of supporting and kind of not supporting. We didn't find it supportive enough, especially when, later statements he threw Utu under the bus and said his big problem is his temper.
Well, no, I think that was the same post.
Was it the same post?
Where
Maybe
he
it's
kind
in
of
this
backed Utu, but then also said the thing about said the thing about the temper, and then did some type of verse that he wrote.
Yeah.
And some people took it to be a curse.
Mm-hmm.
And ergo, there was controversy.
Ergo. And it was, here we go, something like, the witch's rage, the witch's power strikes the blow, the magic hour, the soil, the south rumble and shake, I'm not going to read the whole thing because that would add power to it. But one of the things I always remembered, I'm looking through this statement in the midst of this statement of support for Utu Witch Doctor. Orion made this poetry that he likes to do. Okay, and it is a curse. And I've had his poetical curse cast my way before, I recall it. And it was, very similar language to this. And it sounded all very nice and everything. And I recall it was my tongue was to turn into serpents and turn against me. It was one of the lines in there.
Yeah, fuck if I know.
It was just... and I think that was all because I had said something about a friend of his. I don't know the man, barely met the man, said hi to him across the room at a bar, I think, one time. You've met him.
I don't even know if you said hi to him.
Yeah. You've met him plenty of times. There was never any problem.
No. I met him one time. Okay. I said hi, nice to meet you. I met him another time when... somebody else wanted me to pass a message on to him, and I happened to run into him, and so I came up to him and told him the thing. He liked my chimaruta, and that's it.
Yeah.
That is the extent of our anything.
Yeah.
And you have nothing.
Yeah.
And this man has decided to take it upon himself to have an opinion about both of us, of which he knows nothing, and using his influence to convince people that you're a terrible person, I'm a terrible person,
Yeah.
and whatever.
Yeah. And I never even mentioned the guy or said anything about him until after he said shit. You know, he talked shit first. But it was all
Yeah,
all
he
just-
started. That's
yeah.
the thing. He started it.
Yeah.
They always start it first.
Well, it was all because I don't like a friend of his that I believe is a pathological liar,
And
for very good
and
reason.
the only reason we don't like her is because she attacks us constantly.
Yep.
Like, who is going to like that?
Yep.
Are you going to like that? Nobody's going to like that.
So, anyways, I don't want to make this about us, but so I've had this poetry curse thing thrown at me by him. Didn't seem to have worked out. Maybe it worked out. It seems that his tongue is turned into a serpent and is biting him now. But it was the same kind of thing. It was the same kind of fluffy, four stanza rhyming thing. But the thing that I have always noted, and I hope he doesn't listen to the show and learn a thing or three. But something Mom always taught me about this type of thing is like, yes, absolutely, it was best to be spake and rhyme. And we were taught, where I grew up, it's like, Dr. Seuss. Dr. Seuss had the formula, that rhythmic formula, that rhyming formula that Dr. Seuss had. That's a formula you want to use for your spells. But the hardest part was the no negatives. And, not, neither, nor, these kinds of things, you can't have those in the spell. You need to find a different way of saying what you're trying to say if what you're trying to say would normally have a negative. And that would even apply to most of the Wiccans when they say harm none. That's negative. I think it goes against those rules. But this whole thing ends with two negatives upon each other at the end, in the last line, and just terrible curse, terrible spell. But that's not even the story. That's just me critiquing, and of course I understand that, or you understand that I don't particularly like him. I don't really even dislike him. I don't even care. But we cover this crap on Widdershins, and this crap just keeps getting bigger and bigger, and more people getting sucked into it. And it may not do any good right now, but perhaps someday, in our archives, after the smoke is cleared, some of these people, could look back and hear how ridiculously they are portrayed to the rest of the world.
And sometimes,
most times they won't.
Like right now, you just have to sit back and eat the popcorn.
Yeah, you got to sit back and eat the popcorn. But I'm hoping I'm hoping that our coverage of the stupid shit that goes on in our communities will will help in some way to lessen the stupid shit in our communities. And if it doesn't, then we have more material to get ratings with. So for us, it's a win-win. But I really am hoping to have less fuckery, to have less of this stupid stuff in our communities. I'm just checking in that really quick. So that part of the story was all about, so Orion had done this thing, and we read a little bit of that statement back when we were talking about the Utu issue, but now there's this other group, and we got this off mammy'sdead.com. I'm not plugging either side, but I got to give credit where I got the thing, my source, and they say regarding this thing that Orion said at the bottom of his post, this little poetry of war, that fam is a curse. It looked like love, but don't be fooled, it's a fucking throw. This is a throw against people of color taking stand against appropriation, white supremacy, and general caucasity. There's an empowerment to these MWGA asshats out here getting angry because we're saying stop. This is white man defending another white man who is doing some deep and real harmful appropriative shit. That is a white man defending another white man who is using a problematic as fuck name. This white man deciding that he knows what real racism looks like. as a white man deciding to engage in tokenism and using another black person's words against another black person. Okay, I'm not going to read the whole thing because it goes on and on and on and on. But, so now, the post that Orion made is now being viewed as a curse upon the African American community and the social justice warriors, or the social justice warrior African community. I don't know who the curse is exactly on.
I took it to mean a curse against the POC community.
POC community. So, wow. That's problematic when you're teaching Southern conjure and stuff, especially. Wow. Well, I'm not going to side with either side or defend either side. It's not my position for any of these things, and not a fight. I don't have a pony in the race, but it's fascinating to see all these things happen. They need to have somebody still at Pantheacon to attack, and the other people, they're gone and they're not going to be there. They can't attack Utu because he's not going to be there. Orion hasn't been deplatformed that I know of.
Suffice it to say, we won't be backing Orion anytime soon.
No.
So there's that.
No. But this, just some of this other stuff. First of all, we talked about it when Utu Witch Doctor was on the show. It's like he talked about the Underground Railroad because the property he lives on is one of the end parts of one of the Underground Railroads to Canada, and he knows those spirits. Those spirits pass through his land. He has deep reverence for those spirits. And I think he has a right to talk about that. It's not somebody's property. And I think kind of some of what I saw was the problem was that he was profiting off of it by writing a book. I'm not sure, what all the issues.
No, I think it was. I think it was. It was profiting off of. With the Underground Railroad and Harriet Tubman, basically. Yeah, he was profiting off that.
Well, it's not like he's not a man that gives back. And I remember that he headed this campaign to rebuild this voodoo temple. God, I don't even know that story off the top of my head, but it's like, it's not like the guy's just, taking and not giving, but these are his experiences of his studies that he was initiated in, and the things that he created based on his experiences. And it's like, I don't know.
And the thing is,
I think he gets to write about his experience.
He's not taking anything away from anything else that anybody else has written. This is something that he, for lack of a better word, something that he invented. And he's not taking away from anything or anybody. Well,
and there's, as far as his book, there's a free sample of the first chapter or so. And, what I read, he's talking about the Underground Railroad, and he mentioned the Quakers and how the Quakers were involved in the Underground Railroad. And I knew nothing of that. And it took me a whole, 3 seconds to Google that and see the extreme connection that the Quakers had in the Underground Railroad, and they're white people. So if somebody that was a Quaker came out, it would be okay for them to talk about the Underground Railroad. I'm not sure where the line is drawn, but then this other thing where they were saying in this last post, how about he picked a very unfortunate name, and I've seen some people trying to insinuate that in a couple places, and what they were trying to say is or suggest that witch doctor is an African term. And, that took 3 seconds to Google that. It's not hard to do a little bit of research, but when you find people that don't do any research and just launch off like something like that, you're in a fucking mob. And these are mobs going on, mobs within us. tearing us apart from the inside in all of our communities. And they operate like a mob. And there's no reasoning with them. There's no logic. When these people on that page made their statement against Orion, he then came out with a clarification post, which I won't read, but he tried to clarify his position, how he wasn't cursing them. I think in the post they came up with a term that he put in there. Was it
diversity demon?
Diversity demon. He was banishing the diversity demon.
I don't remember the exact wording.
And then,
but it was something that was taken to mean something offensive by people.
Yeah, like that they were demons, and the people of color were demons. I don't know. The trans people were demons. I'm not sure who the demons were.
Like people, it was interpreted to mean people that were opposed to diversity.
Yeah.
And then did he try to clarify it again and say that it was people who, what was it? I don't know. People who were supporting diversity.
Yeah, he did this whole clarification post. Well, that's
fighting to uphold diversity.
Okay. So here's the problem, and I'm not going to go and try and read the post because we won't make any more sense of it than me and Marta just did. The joker to the left of me.
Clown to the right.
Because, quite frankly, the man consistently uses a language of vaguity that I just cannot grasp what the hell he's talking about. I to this day don't know what a fucking ferry seer ship is. And there just this lofty language of nothingness, and it's all very vague. And that spell, I would not subject my listeners to reading that entire spell because it was just so poorly done, so indirect. Mom always taught us to go for the throat. It's like when you're doing a statement of intent, that's your spell. It needs to be concise, precise, to the point, no negatives. In rhyme if you can, but it needs to be able to be taken in no other context. This is where Marta is fucking good. Statement of intent shit. It's like, think if you're writing a pact to a demon and if you fucked up a word, your soul was on the line. That isn't always the case when you're doing a statement of intent, but this is how Mom taught us to focus. And it'll really keep you focused when you keep that in mind. It's like you want to write a thing that's so fucking precise nobody could ever mistake your intent or meaning. And if you ain't got that, you don't have a statement of intent, you don't have a spell. And if some vague, fluffy-ass nonsense that I can't wrap my head around, I've read plenty of vague, fluffy-ass nonsense, occult crazy shit from all over the fucking world. If I can't wrap my head around it, it ain't wrappable. And I read that thing, and apparently some people got that was a curse out of it. I think there was some definite curse language in there, an attempt to be a curse. I don't know if you can even pull off a curse, but it was at least intending to go in that direction. But it was just so vague, and then to come out with a clarification, including the same vague stuff that I'm used to from the man. It didn't get any better. It got worse. I started seeing on the internet him being fired at by several other sides on that on the social justice warrior side of the movement. Just got uglier.
Yeah, and he is a person who is generally well liked, and that's why this has so much controversy around it. He's used to being liked. Mm-hmm. He probably doesn't even know what to do at this point.
Yeah,
everything backfired. He is used to being liked.
Could have told him.
Yeah.
Well, not our monkeys.
Nope.
Let's see, I'm just looking in the chat room. They are chatting away. Okay, all right. Hello, people in the chat room. I don't want to scroll through and say people's names, but our first show of 2019, we're trying to be upbeat, man. It's going to change.
It sounded like one of those party favors
that
you blow on.
Well, we had pretty dark shit in a lot of magical communities in the last couple of years.
What, you and I?
No, we've witnessed. We've kept our shit out of most of that shit.
Finally,
but been feet first in it with Widdershins being the people talking about it. And I long for the day when I see somebody out there, one of these known pagan people out there starting shit, and somebody tell them, hey, watch out, you don't want to end up on Widdershins. And then we're a success. Then we can fucking retire, man. It's like we've talked about some of the silliest magicians and stuff and witch wars and stuff going on there. We have some great authors and guests and stuff on it. And it's not always that way, but we have no shortage of material about the silly ass shit that goes on.
Yeah, thanks y'all for making our show happen. You give us so much material. Thank you, people, for being controversial enough for us to cover. Thank you. We owe it all to you.
Yep. Keep it all up or don't. We'll find other stuff to cover. But y'all are looking very silly when you end up on Widdershins most times. Unless you're a guest on Widdershins. But, if we're just covering you as a story, you've probably done some dumbass shit.
Yeah.
And, if there were other stories that weren't dumbass shit, we cover those too. Do some good stuff.
Yep.
Go.
We're more than happy to cover good stuff.
Some witch go make Trump's star disappear.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be nice? But, part of the problem I have with a lot of magical communities and their attempts to stay unpolitical is I grew up with people like Oberon Zell, and he had a very different way of living. He was doing a wizard thing. He founded the word, neo-pagan and that kind of stuff. But he had this wizard thing, and the wizards, they were in the world, making shit happen in the world. And I was thinking, like Merlin and King Arthur. It's like Merlin was, it was like Arthur's magician and shit, but Merlin was making his own shit happen too. I think of those kinds of characters in the old world, and it's like they were ruling the world, not just behind the scenes. And so Oberon was always very politically active in his magic. Some of the first politically active magical groups I learned of were through the Green Egg, and I always see all these people trying to stay so far removed, and I've seen, we're what happens in our communities is a reflection of outside. It's like the stupid shit that we see going on in our communities, I see going on elsewhere. The difference is we have magic. It's the same stupid fuckery and a hex or two, thrown in there. So it was the same shit that all the people out there are going through, and it's like 2018 was a fucked up year for a lot of people, and a lot of 2017. And I don't know, I'm in the world. I blame the whole fucking Trump thing for a lot of it. It's ruled so much of my life, or even when I was a political activist, the actual political process of presidents and Congress, and the House, and shit like that never really occupied my time or occupied anything that I was thinking about. I was thinking in much different terms politically, but I've been so fucking focused on this. I've spent so much time watching fucking CNN, Marta 2. It's dominated a large portion of my life, and it rarely brings up like a good vibe.
Yeah,
it doesn't put you in a good mood.
Well, just on a personal note, I don't remember the specifics, but there was there was something that I really, really needed to do in October on a personal level. But then the Dr. Ford hearings were on TV, and I was like, ugh.
Yeah.
So I had to, like, put off my life and the things that I had to do and the things I had to accomplish, the paperwork I had to sign, like all these random things. I was like, no, this is huge. And it's constantly, like, every month I feel like there's something huge going on in our world, in our country, that I have to just drop everything and totally immerse myself in these issues because they're that important.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it sounds crazy to, like, give up your life up for these, you know, things on TV and political things and everything, but it's that important. So I've put off a lot of my life in dealing with this angst that's so prevalent in everything right now.
Well, I've lost many days. It's like, you know, and, you know, like a lot of people, you know, wake up and, you know, have coffee, watch the news. I try not to turn the news on too soon because I can't deal with shit until at least the first cup. But, you know, I have shit to do and turn on the news and it's like somebody just kicked you in the gut and you can't believe the fucking thing that just fucking happened until tomorrow. And then something worse will come up. I don't know when it's been that way. I think I've been pretty woke for a long time. I just don't remember anything out there occupying so much of my angst.
Yep.
I had to just, you know, throw a Molotov cocktail at it, man. I never, you know, wanted somebody to fix it so bad. And I never, you know, backed the FBI so much in my life. I always, you know, more feared that they were going to infiltrate my political
we love the
group.
FBI.
I love them. I worried about their COINTELPRO or shit like that most of my life. I was like,
you know, for people who don't know, I speak Russian fluently, and it's crossed my mind to, like, you know, somehow make myself of service to these organizations that I never would have, like, looked at before.
Man, if you'd have got on the ball, you could, you know, help with the Trump investigation or something.
Right?
I mean, all kind of, you know, Russian speakers,
you know,
and editors.
I think there's plenty of time for that still.
Time. Well, that's the thing. It's like as we go into the new year, I've lost count of the impeachable offenses that are just almost absolute, and we already have all the information on. And then what was the one we were talking about recently? Oh, with with all the money he spent on the tents for the Secret Service.
No, we spent the money.
We spent the money.
We spent,
and then he jacked up the price.
Hold on. It's not like a crazy amount of money in the bigger scheme of things, but we spent like $60,000 on tents for the Secret Service for this New Year's Eve party, so that Trump can, assuming that Trump was going to go, and he needs Secret Service, and they need tents, supposedly. So we paid for all this, and then he ended up not going to the party, and I kind of wonder, like, did we get a refund? Did we just pay for it, and everybody, you know, forgot about it? I don't know. And then there was something else.
There was all the money people had to pay to go there in the first place.
Well, and then the other thing is, I believe it was $100,000 to be a member annually of Mar-a-Lago, and then when he became president, it became $200,000. That's all going in his pocket for his business, and he's using his political position to. And I don't even understand how this is even happening.
Well, that's the thing. It's like that right there is an impeachable offense, and there are so many cases of that particular impeachable offense. Him making money, his family making money, his foundation making money. He's been making way more money than he ever made before he was president.
Yeah, and then he has like all these
there's all those indictments
diplomats and people who, you know, are coming here to win his favor, and so of course they're going to stay at his hotels and put more money in his pocket.
Yeah,
that's happening a lot.
And we don't even have the actual Russia collusion, all of it yet. But now, I think they've been waiting for something, and I think this is the something. Maybe by the third, the rest of it should be coming out. But we know so many things that he can be impeached on, and everybody involved in those things has already, pleaded guilty or been. I think they all pleaded guilty, right? And some took bargains.
No, nobody pleaded not guilty.
Yeah, nobody pleaded not guilty.
Put it that way.
Yeah. Some got bargains. Some didn't get bargains. Some got in more trouble. But what was it? I think it was 16.
16 what?
16 members of his.
That sounds about right.
I think it was about 16 members.
Right. And that's not
Cause
including like his family members who are about to get shafted.
And you know how I know that one?
What?
It's that little Christmas carol that you were saying. 16 indictments.
It's the 12 days of Christmas. So why would there be 16
I don't know.
indictments?
I heard 16. I think it was from that song, man. I don't know how.
That song starts with 12 and goes down.
Man, if I had a drink right now, I'd pour it on you.
I'm the bad guy because you got it wrong.
I still think it's that song. It should be the 16 Days of Christmas.
Okay.
But yeah, very different New Year we're going into, and we'll probably have a lot of that kind of stuff to talk about next year. But
This year.
I mean,
next
this year. I meant
year.
next week. Oh. But I hope to see the effect of the macrocosm on the microcosms. All of the groups that we've been in, covering, it's just had such shitty shit or done such shitty shit or done such crap that we had to cover on Widdershins. I hope we have less of that. It's been pretty hard to for people that are focused on this stuff to remain that spiritual. And I'm not making an excuse for any of those people. That's what I see out there. And at least, the interactions that we have with the majority of the spiritual communities that we're involved in is going to be on Facebook. And we're going to see, Facebook stuff and Facebook groups, things like that out there. The majority of what I see out there is like not spiritual. Nobody's doing anything spiritual. They're attacking other people for their spirituality or how they view their spirituality or how their spirituality affects the other person's spirituality. But I see so many people, even people that I like and respect, all throughout last year, spending most of their time putting down other people's beliefs and other people's spiritualities than saying anything good about their own or doing anything spiritual of their own. It's like, if you're going to if this is your spiritual outlook on Facebook, well, you should balance that shit out. You should be doing some grand spiritual uplifting shit that uplifts people. If you are, in fact, spiritual, religious, any of these things, a lot of these, lofty folk like to throw around, I see a lot more fighting each other than even lifting up the members of their own groups. Even the SJW people spend a lot more time attacking the people that they don't feel safe around than helping each other feel safe. Attacking the other people is not going to make anybody feel safe. So I don't know. That's my final thoughts on that particular issue. What do you think?
I think there's people in a bigger pond that they need to be more afraid of, and I think there's a lot of attacking of your people that ultimately are on your side.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to get past that.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah. We sometimes find ourselves engaged in spiritual practices that borderline into the Catholic and Christian, and but I recognize where those things come from, but I can't get enough people to see what I'm saying. But I keep repeating what I'm saying. I need talking points or something like that. But we have come past the place where a religion can say that it's against their strongly held religious beliefs to support this right, that right, and the other right of a same-sex couple. A person that gets an abortion, a person that wants birth control. In the workplace, that people have been able to deny certain insurance plans because they include abortion or contraception. And people have been able to use their strongly held religious beliefs in the workplace, which is a whole other fight people fought so hard against. Back in my day, you did have to check a box of what your religion was when I was first getting a job. And, good 10 years into it, there was other. And I think back in the day we used to use Unitarian. Unitarian was a checkbox there, and that's what pagans used to use when they had to apply for a job, because their pagan was on there. But we used Unitarian. We came so far to where they weren't allowed to discriminate in the job place, in housing, in so many areas against people because of their religious beliefs, because their religious beliefs are to be bigots, and we've gone fucking backwards. And if you want to go through the Bible and try and figure out how many places it says something bad about gay people, which, really hard to even, find one. And then how many places it says something bad about witches? Witches, sorcerers, necromancers, mediums, all of them is thrown into a big fucking pot. How many places you're going to find those things spoken against in the Bible? And so my talking point, if you will, and into the next year is not a far cry from where we are right now for somebody to say it is against their strongly held religious beliefs for you to force them to suffer a witch to live. Is far more biblical than to be able to discriminate against a gay person. There's more biblical script to support that behavior than the one that they've already supported and has already slipped by, and they've already gotten away with it. They've already taken away these rights. There is an enemy. All of these communities, the people of color that are fighting against, fighting in Pantheacon, the trans people that are fighting at Pantheacon, the gay people fighting for their rights at Pantheacon and everywhere else, and the witches and the hoodoos, and even the ceremonialists and the coyotes, and definitely the heathens too, all ultimately have the same sworn enemy. They have it in their book. We may not have it in any of our books. Some of us do. In the Italian witchcraft, absolutely. It's laid out there. But it's written into their books that they oppose us. They should, not suffer us to live, etc., 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 on and on. And we can debate, what's a mistranslation and what they fucked up. But nonetheless, the Bible contains those words. And I did not see the part where it said that, thou shalt not lie with Adam and Steve or whatever it is. That's really hard to find that part in the Bible, but that, that shall not suffer a witch to live.
So
that's pretty
their
clear.
argument is that it doesn't say Adam and Steve. It says Adam and Eve. So that's their argument.
So just because they didn't, they weren't all inclusive in there. Well, yeah. So that's way less direct than the direct references to the people of a lot of our belief systems. And these all the other groups that I was talking about, the trans people I was talking about, the people of color I was talking about, the gay people I was talking about, these are all pagans and magic people too. This is all the ones I'm talking about just at Pantheacon. It's like, no, you'll burn right next to us on the stake. We will all burn together under the hands of the same enemy while you're in here fighting amongst each other over an inability to have a discussion most times and especially with these mobs that we've covered all throughout the end of last year and now a little bit into this year. People need to be able to have a discussion and a disagreement and be respectful about it, because we all got magic too. Like, people aren't going to walk away from the table after you fucking cuss them out, call them names, and not fucking throw on you. It's not going to happen. Even if you just got in a fight with a Wiccan, they're still going to go home and do that shit. They're just not a really good Wiccan. But everybody's going to do that. Nobody's going to go home. Nobody's doing magic is going to go home and feel powerless at the end of the day. They're going to do something about what they felt out on the field that day. And we're out here, busy attacking each other over. I don't even know if there are crumbs for us to be squabbling over right now. There ain't shit. We're in a precarious place. We've been ruled by the absolute Christian right for, is it over 2 years now? How long has it been?
Yeah, well, he started 2017. Yeah, 2 years.
2 years, and even if you aren't here in America, you felt it. We affect everything. Our president goes around and fucks up everything everywhere. And all of this, at the head of the craziest of the right-wing Christians ever, I call them the Christian Taliban. There's an enemy out there. And the problems with groups not recognizing human psychology, even the sociology will show you some of this. Group thinking. There's always going to be an us and a them. There will always happen in every group. It's a psychological inevitability unless we evolve to some other state. It's inevitable. It's going to happen. People in groups need to designate the them. If you want to call it an enemy, an adversary, the opposite to your group, something. Or your group will develop one on their own. And they will develop one within the group, and it will destroy the group every time. And you should know, if you know me, I just used an absolute. And I don't do that lightly. Every time. If there's not an enemy chosen outside, an enemy will be found inside the group, and it will tear the group apart from within. What we have is a whole lot of that going on for a whole lot of time, and now all the groups tearing all of each other apart from within over fucking nothing, to get nowhere, to get no spoils of war, to get no breadcrumbs, to get no fucking cake.
And meanwhile, them is looking at us and laughing. Saying, dance, puppets. Dance. You're destroying each other.
And they're eating the cake.
Yes.
We want the cake.
Yep.
Got to get the cake before they eat it all, fat fuckers.
Let's play a few songs before you do the Hexfest guest list.
Oh, I got to do the Hexfest guest list, of course. Yeah,
yep.
It's getting. Oh, we are way up there. Let's see. Tell me. Oh, you want that one? We want this one for the new year, man. Wittershins.
Okay.
Froggy Fresh 2012. Yeah. We back up in this. Y'all already know. Cause I am the baddest of them all. If you ain't about money, then I don't mess with y'all. Y'all think I don't get girls, cause I ain't very tall. If she see my stacks, I bet you that she calls. You know that I am the baddest of them all. If you ain't about money, then I don't mess with y'all. Y'all think I don't get girls, cause I ain't very tall. If she see my stacks, I bet you that she calls. I had to fight my whole life. I could beat you up even if you had 1,000 knives. Even if you had infinity knives, I would punch you up into the air like a kite. I bet you sleep with the night light, cause you're scared of the dark, cause you stink like a fart. Well, I light your fart on fire with my rounds. You think I won't? I do it all the time. I bet I got more money than Jay-Z. Compared to me, Jay-Z is lazy. Plus Beyonce thinks that I'm cute. It's okay, Beyonce, I think you're cute too. I made out with so many girls. Made out with every girl in the world. I might look small, but I'm not. I don't care if you're big, I'll fight you. Well, I do know that I am the baddest of them all. If you ain't about money, then I don't mess with y'all. Y'all think I don't get girls, cause I ain't very tall. If she see my stats, I bet you that she calls. Cause I am the baddest of them all. If you ain't about money, then I don't mess with y'all. Y'all think I don't get girls, cause I ain't very tall. If she see my stacks, I bet you that she calls. I have 400 cars. I have 400 scars and 400 guitars. I have 400 houses. I have 400 mouses and 400 houses. Bet you I can dance better than you. I bet you don't know 2 + 2. It's 4. Now go and shut the door, cause nobody wants to see your face no more. I'm tough as nails, you're slower than a snail. I beat up every single person in jail. I dare you to try and punch me. My face is so hard you'll say, ouch, you crunched me. I fought 2 lions and 1. And I don't even carry a gun. But I never run. But I never run. But I never but I never run. You know that I am the baddest of them all. If you ain't about money, then I don't mess with y'all. Y'all think I don't get girls, cause I ain't very tall. If she see my stacks, I bet you that she calls. You know that I am the baddest of them all. If you ain't about money, then I don't mess with y'all. Y'all think I don't get girls, cause I ain't very tall. If she see my stacks, I bet you that she calls. Froggy Fresh. I already told you back up in this 2012 to infinity. Get out of here. Peace.
Father, can you hear me? How have I let you down? I curse the day that I was tried to be true. He tries to be cruel. I'll hold you gently, but he'll smother you. My clothes will impress you, and my claws will undress you. I'm normal outside, he's evil inside. I'm Dr. Jekyll and he's Mr. Hyde. I want what's right. He walks in the night, searching for sin in his decadent life. My charms will beguile you, and my arms will defile you. Me, I'm on the side of the angels, but the devil's my best friend. Sin is a way of life, saints are for suckers. Welcome to the underworld, I start where nightmares end. 2 for the price of 1. 2 for the price of 1. I'm normal outside, he's evil inside. I'm Dr. Jekyll and he's Mr. Hyde. I try to be true, he tries to be cruel. I'll hold you gently, but he'll smother you. My clothes will impress you, and my claws will undress you.
The Damned on Widdershins Radio.
Widdershins.
And a whole bunch of other stuff before that. I don't remember what the hell.
We had Joy Division
Joy
with
Division.
Transmission.
Yes.
What did we have before that?
Froggy Fresh.
Froggy
The
Fresh.
artist formerly known as Krispy Kreme.
I forgot what the name of the song
Froggy
is.
Fresh with the baddest.
Yes.
The baddest of them
Yeah,
all.
the baddest
if you ain't
of them
about
all,
money,
then I don't mess with y'all.
You think I don't get girls because I am very tall.
Tall.
Yeah, we like this song. But yeah, thanks
what
for
we
joining
played.
us for the New Year's episode. And well, before I even get to that part, gotta tell you, you can find us at widdershinsradio@gmail.com. If you got community events you would like us to plug, or if you'd like advertisement opportunities or gossip you'd like to pass on, all of these things, tell us to fuck off, whatever you got, send it to widdershinsradio@gmail.com.
Don't tell us to fuck off.
Don't tell us to fuck off.
I don't
We
need
get
to
that enough.
waste my time with that shit.
Yeah, we get enough
Keep
of
it
that.
to yourselves.
We'll block your ass, but whatever you need to send us, you can send us there at widdershinsradio@gmail.com. You can find me at thesacredgrovestore.com. You can find me at freakville1309 on YouTube. You can find me at gumroad.com/witchschool. That's WITCHSKEWL, where I teach my more volatile and involved classes. And I just recently announced that I'm doing the year and a day witchcraft class. It's the full year-long course in everything witchcraft, folk magic, and everything I have in my bag of tricks. It's been close to 8 years since I filmed the last class, and I think I've gathered quite a few things into my bag of tricks in 8 years that I want to include into what I teach now. So you can still go to gumroad.com/witch school and get what I taught then. I packaged them in various packages and bundles and things where you could save all kinds of money. But the interactive year in a day course I'm doing through Gumroad again. It's on there as the Witch School Level 1. It's beginning February 1st. You can sign up there, or you can contact me at witchschool@gmail.com. That, of course, is WITCHSKEWL@gmail.com if you have any questions regarding that. Or you can find the course already up there, and you can sign up for it. Size, is limited. I'm not sure what the limit's going to be yet, but they had a hell of a response so far on the class. So if you're interested in a year-long witchcraft course with Uncle Birch, you best sign up soon, because I'm not sure how many slots they can even handle over there. So gumroad.com/witch school, WITCHSKEWL. And later in the year, you can find us and several of our guests, I keep pressing the wrong damn button, at Hexfest, August 9th to the 11th, 2019. Join in the magic. Tales of the magic of the Crescent City of New Orleans stretch back over the centuries. It is an enigmatic place where voodoo, hoodoo, witchcraft, and even Christianity blend at the crossroads of spiritual power. On August 9th to the 11th, 2019, Brian Kane, Christian Day, and the Witches of New Orleans present Hexfest, a weekend of witchery held in the heart of the historic French Quarter. The conference opens with a riverboat ritual and dinner held on an authentic steamboat on the Mississippi River.
I am so excited
for
that.
I could see you getting excited.
So
I was just trying to focus on what I was reading.
Okay.
With your excitement is so intense.
Self.
It's like overwhelming. A steamboat on the Mississippi River, followed by 2 full days of workshops, drumming, and ritual at the Bourbon's Orleans Hotel, a venue riddled with a history of hauntings. Hexfest has gathered witches, root workers, voodoo priests, and other magical teachers from within New Orleans and around the world to offer their time-honored wisdom. Between workshops, attendees will love magical shopping in our on-site vending hall, where you can purchase powerful ritual tools, signed books, exquisite jewelry, and spellcrafts handmade by true practitioners. Presenters for the 2019 Hexfest hail from across the spectrum of witchery. Oh, and God, you see what I did? I pressed on somebody's name. Oh. Hail from across the spectrum of witchery and magic. Our presenters include Brian Kane, Christian Day, Dorothy Morrison, Sarita Deste, Fiona Horn, Lady Rhea, Sally Ann Glassman, Hoodoo Sen Moise, Austin Shippey, Star Cassis, Rosemary Ellen Gilly, Byron Ballard, Christine Steffens, the Dragon Ritual Drummers, Carrie O'Crow, Laura Tempest Zakroff, Mary Grace Faroon, Michael Carell, Melissa Mayhem, Patricia Telesco, Star Ravenhawk, Witch Doctor Utu, and Yeshe Matthews. I gotta do some road work for the next time I do this plug.
So you gotta do some breathing work.
Some breathing. I gotta do some breathing work. So in, out, and hold it for 3 seconds, and all that kind of crap.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, I'm lax on that kind of thing. But man, it's such a lineup for Hexfest. What is that? 2 days? 3 days? 3 days. Must be 3 days because I'm doing 3 workshops.
So exciting! I cannot wait.
Yeah.
I cannot wait.
Yeah. And since, the show's not even over yet, let's see. We're going to click on Michael Carell. And I'm not going to read
You
his
read
whole bio.
bios?
No, there's my picture. That's all very cute stuff. But the workshops, man, the workshops. Magical Warfare 1, laying plans. Magical Warfare 2, preparing for battle. Magical Warfare 3, crush the enemy. Now, you ain't going to find that at Pecan.
No.
I don't know where else I would teach that kind of thing, but live on the air here, I think it was it Nazi Witches Fuck Off?
Yes.
The first one? Mm-hmm. If you can go back to in our archives on Nazi Witches Fuck Off, we randomly, it was kind of random. Christian Day messaged me while we were on the air and wanted to know how to get on the air. But when we're doing our mobile broadcasts like this off the phone, we don't have that ability. But so we had to. I don't remember. I think we borrowed one of Sasha's phones or his iPad or something like that, and we got Christian Day on Skype. We played a couple songs, and we just kind of like we ended up having to do with Witch Doctor Utu that one night. We just went speaker to speaker, all old school way, or speaker to microphone, and we had Christian Day on the air and talking about the Nazi pagan shop in Salem.
And I want to give a shout out to one of the guests who was on the show to speak about that. I don't know if it was that day or the following week, but Thomas, today is his birthday.
Yes.
Happy birthday, Thomas.
Yeah.
Valor.
Yes. He was on the show.
Maybe it was the next week. I don't know.
I think Christian Day actually, introduced us to him to have as a guest on the show.
Yep.
And
so I just want to put that out there. It's his birthday.
But on that show, live on the air, Christian Day gave me an invitation to come present at HexFest, which I immediately accepted. And then, I had to, fill out a thing with the ideas for the thing, and nothing. Nobody batted an eye. Nobody dotted a T. Nobody had any questions. Like, spiritual warfare. A workshop series ending in crush the enemy. They had no problem with, and I can't think of anywhere else. I would have presented that. I could teach a million things and hundreds of different crafts, but this is a thing that I've been working on the Gumroad site, the Spiritual Warfare series. So it's something that I've been doing. So it was on my mind, and I'm working on some other stuff in that field. So that was on my mind, and that's what I floated as my workshops. That's what they immediately accepted, and They got some guts over there and some gumption, and we like that. Mm-hmm. Not so much these other places where people are getting deplatformed and stuff. All right, we got time, play a song or two and get the hell out of here.
Yep.
All right. So,
good night. Happy New Year.
Thanks for coming, y'all. And I will play another damn song. This one's always good.
All right.
Happy New Year, y'all. With a chance.
I know you're cold, but I've seen it before. I'll take a chance on the wine. You starch white hips, intravenous she drips, in fear of turning blind. Head of gray, some guys say, shows you growing old. Do it again, I can't explain. The light sure seems so cold. Feel the pain, it leaves no stain. Feel the pain, the name of the game. drop some blues. Time to choose. Oh, why your heart is just a stabbing. Bloody eyes can't describe the nature of your hacking. Back to front, the blade tastes blunt in the safety of your bedroom. No desire to touch the fire. It's just a sad obsession. Feel the pain. It leaves no stain.